Rabbi Kaplan, please.
Last time that I gave a talk over here, so we talked about what lies behind the need or the drive to make techeles and to look for the techeles. And nowadays you find so many people that are wearing techeles, and the kashes on their techeles is enormous. So many questions are on this murex techeles, and we talked about it. On the other hand, I wanted to say I'll try maybe in the next talks maybe to talk more about the kashes that are on this techeles. The meanwhile, I didn't work on it so much. I wanted to get to another subject which is maybe somehow connected. I just wanted to say that the article that I read, which was very, how do you say it? He was talked very, very short. Every kasha was short. He doesn't say any extra words, and he says exactly what his kashas are. And a list of very strong kashas on the murex techeles. And on each one of these kashas, he talks about how does this relate to the Radziner's techeles. And most of the kashas are the Radziner's techeles is all right. It's not schwer on his techeles. Like, for example, the kasha that it says it's olam min hayam once in 70 years. That fish is really olam min hayam once in 70 years. I don't know how do they know that, but at least they see that it's not something that you have to that you find on the shore, like the murexes.
The murex is found at the bottom of the sea.
The Radziner's techeles. Yeah.
The Radziner comes up, and the murex doesn't come up.
Doesn't come up either. But how do they catch it? How they go to the bottom of the sea? I mean, it never comes up.
It never comes up.
Oh, you see that? And the Radziners. Now, I would say, as a continuation to what we were talking last time, that there's how do you say, there's an expression in English, there's light years of difference between what was what pushed them to look for the techeles and what pushed the Radziner to look for the techeles. The Radziner, you have to know, was a gon olam. A different kind of gon that it's not something that it's like somebody from way back, from Doris back.
Rabbi Kaplan.
What?
Let me put in an advertisement. About a few shirim ago, I put up a drasha from Barrel Wine, who, by the way, I believe wears the techeles. He wears it inside. And he talked about the godlus, the unbelievable godlus of the Radziner Rebbe, the Baal Tahorot.
Oh.
So just to advertisement, please, listeners, go watch
the Sidrei Tara is a sefer on Kalim and on all those tremendous gaonis. Not any extra word there. And not stam looking to say Torah. Mavara sugyas, and sugyas in all those. One of the hardest nesechtas of Shas. And he brings all the Gemaras and the Toseftas and everything. And he knew God, Derekul, as you can see in the Sefer Orchos Chaim that he wrote on the Tzavos Reb Lezer HaGolden with Marmar Kamasam Kolat Torah Kula Mamish. And he didn't have what to do with his time. Only what? We don't understand what tzaddikim are. Tzaddikim it's a different level. It's something that nowadays we're hardly used to such a concept. Tzaddikim means people above the teva. Malchum Ish Gamzu, Shaya Melumet Benisim, the Gemara says. Melumet Benisim, there were people that the Chazal called him a Melumet Benisim. Chanina ben Dosu. Chanina ben Dosu, he said, Mishamar l'shemen v'yadlik, yomer l'chometz v'yadlik. They put in vinegar instead of oil into the candle. So he said, so his daughter said, what's going to be? So he said, what's the problem? So whoever said to the shaman should burn will tell the chometz to burn. And what do you think? He was saying, let's perform a miracle. That's what the superficially it would look like. They said, let's perform a miracle. It's not like that. The Radziner himself that we're talking about, he says, what about being matriach klape mala? There's another Gemara in Tainis that says that Rava, he was nanash because he was matriach klape mala. He performed miracles, made Hashem, so to speak, force Hashem to change the teva. It was a tviyah on him. Why'd you do that? No, but Chanina ben Dos is allowed. Why is he allowed and Rava is not allowed? So he says, because Rab Chanina ben Dos, there was no such thing as teva in his eyes. What do you mean you put in vinegar instead of shemen? So what? Vinegar can't burn. Shemen can burn. Who made that up? Who made, like every second he's sing the Dvar Hashem in the whatever burns. So who told you this is not going to burn? You know what's going to be. Somebody like that, he does not see teva. He sees Yad Hashem and everything. So by him, it's not matriach klape mala. That is a lot to talk, to go deeper and deeper into what he's saying over here. That's tzaddikim. That's the bechina of tzaddikim. That, of course, I'm not talking about Chanina ben Dosu, but we're talking about tzaddikim of the later durs. But tzaddikim is the pshat that they don't see teva. They see Yad Hashem and everything. So on such a person, you're going to compare to these people. I mean, it's a bush even to think such a thing. He felt, and we don't know why, that we can bring back a certain mitzvah of techeles. And he felt that it's his avodas Hashem, his tachlis in the world, to go look for the techeles and bring it back. That's what he felt. And why did he feel? That was his sharish neshama. What do we understand why? And many years ago, one of my sons wanted to wear techeles, and I said, so if you wear techeles, wear the Radziner's techeles. Because when you come to the next world, they'll say to you, what did you wear techeles for? So you'll say, I belong to the Radziner. Or they'll say to you, do you have any tzaddik that you have any connection with? So they'll say, yeah, the Radziner. Well, here, what are you going to say if you wear the Murex techeles? Who, what? Who do you have a connection to? What did it do? And what, now, you see, there's such a thing. What I want to bring out from all this talk is that there's such a thing as the sherish neshama. That means it's different people have different avodas Hashems. They have different avodim. The Radziner, there was part of his avodah was finding the techeles. You might ask, nobody uses it anymore. It was forgotten. What do we know? What tikkunim he made in the world when he found the techeles, when he was all the trouble he went to find it? What do we know? But he definitely accomplished something in Ruchnis. And he said this farm that he wrote on it, which is this farm itself is Gonas. I always say over a piece from the Sefer about when he talks about tekiyas, something has to do with tekiyas with us. It's a suffix. What's the right one? There's a piece there that I always say over. I mean, stem the Sefer itself. That means it brought down a chelik HaTorah to the world also, besides the techeles itself. So I said to my son, you want to wear techeles, so wear the Radziners. Now came along my grandson, my son
Kaplan.
Yaakov.
Hello, Rabbi Kaplan.
What?
You have a chaver. The
What?
same words, the option of a Rebbe Kimat said. If you want to wear techeles, wear the radziner.
Ah, he said that.
Yes. Beautiful.
Oh, very good. So this grandson of mine, he's a boy of, I'm not sure, 7 or 8 years old. So he decided one day he wants to wear techeles. So his father went and got him the Radziner's techeles. So I said, very good, you did good. If you're already going to wear techeles, let it be the Radziner's. You shouldn't be anything else. I'm saying like this, when if you wear the Radziner's techeles, so in a certain sense you're connected to a tzaddik. Connected to a tzaddik, a kadosh alien that's now in the Ulam Alien. And I'm sure he has a heichel of his own, and you're connected over there. And it's a very good thing. I mean, nobody said you have to do it, but if you do it, you're connected to a big tzaddik, a kadosh alien. You see, it comes out from all this talk that there's such a thing. Besides being a yochid, there's also a thing as being part of a tzibur. There are two bechinas in a person. There's the chelik ha-yochid in him, and there's the chelik ha-tzibur. Nowadays, it's very hard to say that you belong to a certain tzibur. Like, what makes you belong to a tzibur? Nowadays, you go to a shul, but you have nothing to do with... the shul doesn't mean it's a tzibur that you belong to, that you're part of. The shul means that you daven there. But to be part, you don't feel. But I think that in Klal Yisrael, there is an union of being part of a tzibur. You see that there's such a thing as 12 Shvatim in Klal Yisrael. 12 Shvatim doesn't just mean 12 groups. It's 12 drachim, like some Sefer says, the Nuschos HaTfilah come from the 12 Shvatim, that each one has his shah, where his tefillahs go up through there. And that's the 12 Shvatim. Each one has his shah, where his tefillahs go up. That means each one has a different connection, different way of connecting to Hashem. Nuschos HaTfilah is not just say this word or say that word. It's a path how to connect to Hashem. I once said to a certain person that he davens with kavanas or rashash, with siddur or rashash. He's a talmid of some mekubal in Givat Shol that we know, and this person lives in Har Nov. And I said to him, you daven with the kavanas or the rashash. So I mean, there are different ways of writing the Shem. Al-Pi Kavanas Ariza, and different nekudas to the Shem. Do you feel a difference in your connection to Hashem, whether you write the Shem this way, these kind of miluyim, or those kind of miluyim, or these nekudas, or those nekudas? Do you feel a difference in your connection? So he just smiled and he didn't answer, but then that's what it means. If you really, there's such a thing as kavanas hatfilah, that means a certain path with what you connect to Hashem, and Bali Ruach HaKodesh felt that different connection in their davening. Now, so there is such a thing as 12 Shvatim, 12 gates, 12 connections to Hashem. And even nowadays that we don't know our Shorish, and we don't know what Shevet we come from, and we don't know, I mean, more than the Shevet we come from, but we don't know what's like let's say, what derech in Avodas Hashem should we take? What should we mostly emphasize? in our avodas Hashem, and even in the sitting and learning part, there are different drachim in learning. So I can understand that the yeshivas learn 10 daf a month. You could understand it if you do it the right way. That the pshat is you can take your chiyus, your kihem chayenu, you can take out of these 10 daf. You can live from this amount of Torah. You could live. Okay, if that's what you do. But there's some people that they live from. They need to live. To have a kihem chayenu, a ruchnias dika chayim. They need shas. Everybody should think maybe I'm one of those people. You need to have a shas in your head, to have this kihem chayenu, the Torah's life. That's what you have to have. Now, not everybody has nowadays. The Aridas Hadaras made it that we hardly have this feeling of a connection to a tzibur. Now, I had this feeling this week. I went to a chasna of Taimanim. My balabais that rents me the apartment, he's a Taimani, and he married off a daughter. And I went to a chasna. I saw a big family of Taimanim, brothers, brother-in-laws, and friends, and all Taimanim. You could tell on them, and the complexion of their skin, you could tell that they're Taimanim. And I had this feeling of Shavit. There was a feeling over there. They have certain characteristics inside and outside that makes them different than other Yidden. But it's a beautiful thing that you see it. There's a Shavit. It's a Shavit, and the Shavit is still here. And they feel, I imagine that they feel good about it. That this is us, this is what we are, this is where we belong. This is a heritage that we have. Now, anybody who read any books about recent history knows that in the beginning of the Medina, I don't know when it was, 1949 or 50, so they brought many Jews from Arab countries. They brought here to Israel. And also they brought many Jews that Taimanim, they brought to Israel. And it's very hard, just like we were saying before, that the concept of tzaddikim, we have no musag, no idea what it is, where they're holding, how they feel. There's also such a thing as rishoim, that we don't understand. The rishis is so terrible that we can't understand it. They took these Yidden, these Taimanim, they put them in camps, Keilu, until they'll find housing for them, and they put them in these camps, and they kipshuta shmaded them. They did everything they could to shmad them, to take their children away from Yiddishkeit. And that was part of Zionism. I once I wanted to say to somebody that I was fighting with on the bus, I wanted to say to him that you're not a real Zionist. You don't eat chazer and you don't be mechal Shabbos. To be a real Zionist, you have to eat chazer and to be mechal Shabbos. Because then you'll be like a goy. What does Zionism mean? Kechol goyim beis Yisrael. We're like all the rest of the goyim of the world. make somebody a goy. Being mechal Shabbos, that's mamish makes you like a goy. And eating chazer, it's also a very goyish thing. And you don't eat chazer, and you're not mechal Shabbos, so you're not a real Zionist. Yeah. And it doesn't sound good to many people, but that's the truth. I'm saying the same thing here. They brought many Jews in, and they did everything they could to schmat them up, to cut their children off from Yiddishkeit, not to have them any Jewish education. And there's nowadays, we're holding many years later, but nowadays in the Chiloni world in Israel, there are children that they don't know what it means, Shema Yisrael. They don't know such a thing. I mean, nowadays, I'm sure probably 20 years ago and 30 years ago also was like that. They don't know what it means, Shema Yisrael. Now, that's what they tried to do with the children of the Taimanim. And to a certain degree, they were successful, Rahman al-Islam. I'm not even talking about the terrible tragedy of taking away the babies and telling the parents that they died. That's unspeakable tragedy that you can't even talk about it. But talking about the living, that they mamish smattered them off. And then they went by years and years. But you see now that we're holding 70 years later, or 65 years later. Look, so as I was thinking this, when I was sitting at this chasna, look what happened. Look, Baruch Hashem, that they were not successful altogether. Look, it's all Shevet of Taimanim, a Shevet b'Yisrael. They have their ways, their traditions, and they're not ashamed, they're not embarrassed with. They made the brachas by the chuppah, a whole different accent than we have. Even though if you listen good, those that know to listen good, and you can detect the similarities to the Ashkenazim, and especially to the Lita'im, that say a cholam, they say a chelam, and they also, it's something like the chelam, it's hard to pronounce it, but they have that. And they're proud of it. It was the most extreme part of it was the one that read the Ksuva. So he read it, and when he got to the line that said that she'll collect the Ksuva, Fafilu miglima dal kasva, even from the clothing that he's wearing on his shoulders, it says in the Ksuva. So glima means a robe. That's how they used to dress in those days. So when he read Miglima Dal Kasvi, he said Mijlima Dal Kasvi, the Jalima that he wears. So like we don't have in our pronunciation of Hebrew, we don't have a G, but they have it. They certain gimels that they say G, Mijlima Dal Kasvi. Also they say very Bria Jofen. They say so. You see that but it still exists. Like it should have been forgotten long ago, this pronunciation, because over here in Israel, we're Israelis. It's a new society, a new Hebrew. So why should you go with the old pronunciation? But they still keep the old pronunciation. So it was very good to see this tofa, what you see over here, and I was very mitragesh to see this. Even though the truth is that the main thing is to sit and learn, main thing is Torah. Main thing is to learn Gemara, Rashi, and Toshus, and that's what really brings a person close to Hashem. That, I would say, that's mitzad, the yochid. But when you talk about belonging, being part of a tzibur, which is also very important, you could see it over there. Good, it's getting late. Hashem should help us that we should all be sholem in our yechidis part and in our tzibur part, and we should have the gula shlema b'meir v'yameinu, and then it'll come back to the union of 12 shvatim, and everybody will see where he belongs, and it'll be a shlemus of Klal